Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, your source for the Gotham TV show and all things Batman. I am your co-host, Phil Parrish, and with me is Kelly.
Hey!
And Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Alright, let's jump in with week 2. The episode was Selina Kyle. First thoughts, what everyone think of this?
I liked it a lot. I like more of Catwoman's, or Selina, should I say, character. I felt like they waited too long to really bring out her character in the episode. The first part of the episode was a little dry as far as that, because I wanted to see more of her, and then it picked up. So I liked it.
Yeah, I know. It was like the beginning of the first half of the episode. I'm like, they're still not letting her speak, or at least not that much.
Exactly. I was like, she does talk, right?
Not even a meow. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of the same way. I'm like, the episode is called Selina Kyle. When are we gonna get more? But I love her character, and I love what they're doing to develop her. She's so fun and feisty. And there were lots of great snarky lines this week, so that was fun too. But yeah, the first half, it was like, okay, we're getting towards the end here. Come on!
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if a lot of the episodes are going to be like this, where like the first half it was a lot of Gordon and Bullock again.
Which was fine. I mean, one of the favorite parts was, hey, I got you one, but I dropped it.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about the coffee.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That was funny.
I was like, yeah, great.
Although I guess you'll see a lot of Gordon though, just because he's the main star of the show.
He is. He's supposed to be. And I wonder how long they'll keep Selina around. If she's going to be a character we're going to see just at the beginning, then phase out, or if she'll be continually in the background.
Yeah.
I think she could be a good resource.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of come to the mindset with this show the same way I approach Smallville. And once I got that mindset, I was okay, this is what it is. They're going to change up continuity. They're going to change up things. Try to enjoy it for what it is and be happy that you have it and not nitpick. I mean, there's things in Smallville I was kind of like, but I was like, you know what? This is Smallville canon, and that's how I'm going to look at it. This is Gotham TV series canon. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, and that's how I come at it anyway. I mean, being in the TV land, that's kind of how I do it anyway, is each show is its own standalone, or, 2 shows could be their own standalone universe,
Yeah.
It's just alternative reality is kind of how I look at it. If there's something that differs from something I'm aware of in a comic book or whatever, okay, maybe this is a little bit of an alternate reality.
Because I know I really got more frustrated just when I realized that the captain was Sarah Essen. And I was like, unless she's going to have a daughter, name her Sarah Essen. There is no way that relationship would play out like it did in the comics where she became Gordon's second wife.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of frustrating, like, man. But, like I said, I'm just taking it and enjoying it.
Yeah, you usually have to, you can't look too closely at the timeline of the comic books in the show just because, half of the characters on the show didn't show up until Batman was already operating, so.
Exactly, but did you see the Queen Consolidated logo?
That's what I was gonna say. Realities might collide, yeah. But
I did see that.
Yeah, with Bruce as a young kid, I don't know if we're gonna see probably won't see Oliver. I mean, if we did,
Robert.
Yeah, I was gonna say if anyone, we'd probably see Robert Queen.
Here's my thing. I was thinking this with Arrow and now Gotham and with the villains. I thought something we could think about. What villains do you think that'll cross both shows?
Well, the Dollmaker, obviously.
Yep, that was going to bring me to the Dollmaker. And I'll tell you right now, we were watching the episode, and my wife looks over, and she's like, I wonder if I think it's the Dollmaker. Before they brought it up, because in the first volume of Catwoman New 52, it's similar, and she takes on the Dollmaker. My wife nailed it. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I saw online people were saying at first some people thought it was the Mad Hatter because the Mad Hatter's abducted children before.
That would have been cool. I think doing the lesser-known villains as a way of making things strong without over... Because it's like they're shuffling in the higher villains as background characters. in
You
the
can't
lesser
pull out all
known.
your aces.
Exactly.
Or our jokers.
Yeah, well, that too.
Although that's the other thing I saw online is like now I guess there's only been 2 weeks, but every week now everyone's like, oh, is that a possible Joker sighting? Is that a possible Joker sighting?
That's what they want.
I know. Although the one I saw this week was pretty weak, and it can't be him. The couple that was abducting the kids for the doll maker. Everyone was like, they're always smiling. They're always smiling. That could be Joker and Harley. And then it was like, no, because when the cops were looking for them, they said we're looking for a middle-aged couple.
Yeah, no, that's not them.
So that's
a stretch beyond stretch.
Yeah,
she didn't look anything like my Funko Pop.
Yeah, no, she was too old. Yeah, Harley's pretty young to begin with, and I mean, if they were middle-aged by the time Bruce became Batman, they would probably be like getting ready to collect Social Security.
Geriatric villains.
That's the one thing I saw this guy talking about. He's like, it's neat having all these villains, but it's like by the time, no wonder Batman will be awesome because by the time he gets around, he'll just punch the villains into their wheelchairs because they'll all be old and decrepit.
The walkers with the horns on them.
Yeah. But I found this episode well paced. It was interesting. The doll maker aspect was neat. I wonder if that's going to be a kind of a the phrase I like to use is the Phantom Menace villain. Where it's someone in the background pulling strings that we haven't yet to meet because they didn't catch the doll maker yet.
Mm-mm.
And so I wonder what's going to go on there.
Yeah, because they say they were getting children for someone overseas, so he might not even be in Gotham.
Right. And I mean, we got more of Cobblepot or Cobblepoot. if you go by what his mother said.
Man,
I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. I'm not even sure I want to be that anymore.
That whole storyline's that this week seemed almost to be like a horror movie. The people pick him up on the side of the road, and then 5 minutes later he's stabbing the one to death, and he kidnaps the other one, holding him for ransom.
Pretty cute.
Yeah, and the mom didn't even realize it. He's like,
I know,
no,
she's like, it's another one of his jokes.
I'm just like, oh, poor guy. He's really, really off. So I'm interested in what they're going to do with Oswald because we've seen the trailer where he comes back to Gotham and you see him yelling at the guy like, "There's a war coming. There's a war coming." So
yeah, if he starts a big war, I want to see the look on Harvey Bullock's face when he looks at Gordon. He's like, "I thought you killed him."
Yeah, and it's like, nope, didn't. Bam. And I'm still curious what they're doing as far as his background. I think they're going more classic Penguin, with him just being like having a mom that was overprotected.
Yeah.
And in his origin, it was because he was portly and round and awkward, why he got the nickname and everything. So I wonder if they're going back that way instead of making the Cobblepots rich and a family.
Yeah. You know what other scene I really liked was the whole conversation between Fish Mooney and Falcone, whatever we gonna call him.
I'm going to go with Falcone, trying to keep it in continuity with this show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I thought that was a really interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those, he's playing the power card and just testing her.
Did you hear, was it Falcone who mentioned Maroni?
Yeah, I saw who they cast as Maroni.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Either of you guys ever watch Dexter?
Nope.
Well, that's the only thing. You ever see the first Expendables?
Yes.
The guy who was like the military leader in the first Expendables is him.
Yeah.
And I liked him on Dexter, so I'm cool with him being Maroni.
Yeah, and did you see they cast Harvey Dent also? So those
those
two are probably going to collide, like the classic Two-Face origin.
I'm like, I saw that this morning, and I was just like, wow, really, Harvey, and like the age they put him at, and I'm just kind of like, okay,
yeah,
I always looked at Harvey to be more at like Bruce's age.
Yeah, or maybe just a little older.
Because they always seem to be more like friends. Because in some instances they were friends before the transformation.
Yeah, but in certain stories, Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon are friends, and Jim Gordon's a good bit older than Bruce Wayne.
True.
It's true. It can still work. I'm being optimistic. I want to see. I think it'd be really cool if they play up where Harvey has anger issues and almost has the second personality, like he gets fits and like he's blacked out before, or just fits of anger, and you kind of see where he's kind of Two-Face-ish before ever really becoming Two-Face.
Schizophrenic.
Yeah. he has his moments where you're not sure.
Well, Kelly, do you know how Sal Maroni plays in the Two Faces origin?
I probably used to know.
Harvey Dent's like cross-examining him in court, and Maroni
Right.
like pulls out a vial of acid and whips it at his face.
Oh, that could be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I remember it was acid, but I couldn't remember how.
Yeah, they were in court. I wonder if they're gonna play out that scene. That'll be something.
And Gordon being there, and
Oh
yeah, that could be fun. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with Barbara. She intrigues me.
Yeah, I wonder if they're actually gonna have a scene with her outside of the apartment.
You mean she can leave the apartment?
I know. I mean, her big. I mean, last week she had a conversation with Montoya, but besides that, her other only scenes I think were eating dinner with Jim and
On the couch with Jim.
Oh yeah.
And then questioning Jim.
Oh, and that. Oh yeah, and making the anonymous tip to the newspaper.
Yeah. I think though they'll do something with her. I think they're kind of playing her as being kind of domestic at this point, but I think she's gonna surprise us.
Yeah.
I think she's a character that you could really write a good new backstory for, because not much has ever been done with her.
Yeah.
She's always just been Gordon's wife that gave birth to his children and then faded out. So they can really build up something, give her more grit and story. So I'm interested to see what they do.
Well, yeah, I believe the backstory is going to involve Montoya. So.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, we'll see.
But anyway, back to that Fish Mooney Falcone conversation.
Mm-hmm.
How funny was that when he's like, "Is that your lover?" She's like, "Oh, you mean that boy I keep around for exercise?"
It was her trying to be strong and him.
Oh, it's her trying to protect him. She was like, "Oh, he means nothing to me."
Yeah, that didn't really help
Right.
him out too much.
No, that could ruin your whole day.
Laszlo.
Now here's something I noticed. I paid a lot of attention this time. All the computers are old.
Yes.
They're all old, and even the TVs are all old box TVs. So I'm still looking for signs of the time and the setting.
You think maybe they're trying to do, maybe the timeline might be at least 10 years or so ago?
It's possible. You know, I mean, they haven't said any kind of dates.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't established a whole lot of what's going on in that universe at the time. So I'm very interested to see if it filters out, if they're going more for that timeless feel like we discussed.
Yeah.
But I was paying more attention this week, and
yeah, I
thought, go ahead, Phil.
No, sorry, I was gonna say I just think they are going for that timeless feel like they did in the animated series.
The animated series, the greatest Batman ever.
Oh yeah.
So how excited did you get when they mentioned Arkham?
Oh yeah, they were like
That was cool.
They were like it's been closed for 10 years. I'm thinking not for long.
For real. Did you notice in the trailer the reference to Arkham City?
I don't know. I might have missed.
You saw the extended trailer for like the entire season coming up.
Oh, okay,
Right?
okay, yeah.
The mayor's got a board. He's talking about the Arkham property, and the camera pans in, and it's big, and then it says Arkham City.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's really neat to see what they're going to do with that. Because I like the line where they talked about Bruce maybe needing help, and Alfred's like, he's a Wayne.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to see Bruce have to go to a psychologist,
Well,
and it be Hugo Strange.
Oh.
And bring in a young Dr. Strange.
Yeah, but Jim Gordon already recommended that to Alfred, and he said, I promised his father I wouldn't take him to,
Right.
that I would let him work out all his stuff himself.
But I just think that'd be kind of neat, like, to see something happen where that comes into play, and have Hugo almost be a reverse mentor to Bruce. I think would be really neat. Kind of he gets in Bruce's head and in his mind. I think that could be something that would be just... Because I think he'd be a very easily adaptable character for that show.
Yeah. And did you see when Bruce was sitting there listening to music and he was sketching that little sketch?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many theories on what that was. Some people were like, oh, that was... Because it looked like there was two eyes above at the top, and it was like, oh, it's some kind of like, dark protector watching the city, and other people were like, oh, it looks like the Batcave.
I think it looks like what the writers want you to think it looks like.
Oh yeah, it's a Rorschach test.
Exactly.
My favorite Bruce Wayne scene is when he just walked in behind Alfred and Gordon talking.
Yes, the classic. Yeah, he snuck up on Gordon, and I just looked at my wife. I was like, oh, he's gonna be doing that for years and years to come.
And that way we can get that famous line. So that's what that feels like.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my favorite Bruce Wayne moment of the week.
Yeah, I think that was probably mine too.
This
Agreed.
was much more of an episode, and not like what are all the spoilers and Easter eggs for this week? It was definitely more, all right, we got that out of the way and introduced you to so much.
Yeah.
Now let's play around in this universe.
Yeah, there were a few Easter eggs though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you know this, but you know how they kept calling Selina Kyle Cat?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I write about this in the blog this week, but when Catwoman first appeared in Batman #1, they didn't call her Catwoman, they called her the Cat.
That
I
makes
remember
sense.
that. I remember that now.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was like a homage to that or.
That
I think it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the. Well, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I think it's just kind of neat. Just hers, like, it's Cat. It's just
Yeah.
kind of neat. Like, it's her street name. Everyone kind of calls her. It would almost, in some ways, be kind of neat if, like, they hadn't revealed her real name. She just went by Cat, and then, like, she maybe meets Bruce and tells her her name's Selina. And that way, like, because there's so many different backgrounds on Selina Kyle. You have the socialite, the art collector, like Richie, and then you have more of the street person. So it could have gave her, like, a way of being kind of reinventing herself later on.
Yeah, but the way you were saying about her talking to Bruce, it reminded me. I saw another theory online that people were saying, oh, the way she sneaks around the rooftops and stuff and all that maybe she'll show Bruce a couple tricks or something.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wondered if the whole abducting kids, yada yada yada, while I understand the doll maker, I kind of think you could see that for almost like kidnapping kids to be trained as assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's another villain. I'm like, we have Ra's al Ghul about to be on Arrow, but
Right.
we have a Ra's al Ghul in Gotham.
Yeah, he's a Batman villain.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm like, what are we going to get? What are we going to see?
Yeah, or you've mentioned this before, Tyler. What if the doll maker was working for the Court of Owls?
Man, I'm telling you, I will say that in every one of our podcasts. It would be so great because they are a villain of timelessness, and the fact that they can be in there, and they could be like, these murders happen, and then Gordon tries to solve it and finds these weird coins and can't piece it together, because it's the court. Like, they released the Talon, they did their job, and they went back.
He thinks the system's corrupt now. Throw the Court of Owls in there.
I mean, come on, just give me an Easter egg of, like, some rich dude with a cane with an owl head. I don't care, something.
Yes, Gotham writers, are you listening? Court of Owls. Court of Owls.
Because it's not one person villain.
Oh yeah, it's a whole It's the true power behind Gotham.
I want to see a young Tony Zuko, just some street kid that Gordon and Bullock bust, or some street kid they don't bust because they don't think he's a threat. He's just some kid out there trying to make a name that everyone just kind of shoves off.
Yeah, like Bullock can let him go and be like, oh, how much harm could he do?
Yeah.
Oops.
Some foreshadowing there.
Yeah, or he like drops circus tickets or something on the street or something.
It would be so much they can do with these characters. I'm pumped.
Oh yeah.
I almost wish it was a Netflix series, just so I could binge it. Because I'm just like, what's going to happen next? I don't know. Because I feel like, really, with each episode, they're opening up the can bigger. Mm-hmm. That a lot can happen bigger than what we originally thought or intended.
Yeah. My only problem with this episode is when Barbara called the newspaper. Mm-hmm. I was like, doesn't everyone in the world now have caller ID? And wouldn't there have been, like, some kind of,
timeless?
Well, that's true, but I mean, even 10 years ago or so, didn't people have caller ID?
Not where I live, but...
Oh, really?
It depends on the line. I mean, if they pick up an old standard push phone...
That's true.
They may not have it. I mean, it's an anonymous tip line, so, I mean, maybe there's some sort of code or practice of ethics about we need to protect this or else people won't call in for tips.
Oh, yeah. I mean, any other time I would say a reporter would protect our sources, but since it's Gotham, I thought there would be some corrupt person there who would tell the police or the mayor.
Well, and if it was coming through a PBX, like it would have been probably, then back then, not necessarily. You know, you might not get the caller ID because it went through a million routings in between getting to the extension that it's going to.
Okay, good. I feel better.
Yeah,
It
I
totally
like,
just depends on the phone
think of it
system.
too hard. I was just like, huh. But that is a good idea.
But
I
yeah,
thought
when you're
it was a good episode, but there wasn't a whole lot of meat in the episode. It was just a good episode.
Maybe they were trying to give us a little time to digest from last week.
And I agree with that totally, because I went back and rewatched the pilot again.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see if I missed anything. And one thing I think I heard, and I brought this up to you guys, was Gordon mentions when he's talking to Pepper, like, where were you at 9:30? And I'm like, is he saying that's when the Waynes were murdered? Because, and everything I've always read was the Waynes were murdered at 12 midnight.
Yeah, see, and I heard 10:47, so.
And it was supposed to be like, I know for a fact that like in New 52 continuity, they're murdered at midnight, and Batman was born at 12:01. The idea is Bruce died with them at midnight, and then Batman was birthed at 12:01. So
I think it's another one of those things. It depends who's writing the story.
yes, and I agree with that. But it's just, that's the one thing I listened and I heard from last week.
Yeah, because I think some of the older school writers like Denny O'Neil and some of them, maybe like back in the 90s and stuff, they were, or maybe even like early 2000s, they'd say 10:47. So yeah, it all depends who's writing the story.
So you guys both saw the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw real quick, but yeah.
We got Zaz coming.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I heard that a while ago.
Yeah.
I think it's neat because he's definitely a villain that I'm like okay with being out early because he's a serial killer. And for a cops to track a serial killer, awesome. Now, do you think that was the doll maker you saw in the trailer who has like the mask? Like it's shot from an angle that maybe it was like it looked kind of scarecrowish, but you couldn't really tell?
I don't know, because I thought I heard aren't they bringing Scarecrow in also?
I don't know. Like the only one else I've heard rumors of is Victor Freeze, not so much Mr. Freeze, but Victor, and now Harvey Dent. We have confirmation on.
Yeah, and next week is it next week? I think aren't they bringing in Professor Pig?
That's who it seems to be. We saw a guy with a pig mask.
Yeah.
So I'm like interested in seeing if that's going to be played out and be Professor Pig, because I think he's a villain that's not well known enough. That it definitely could be surfaced. I follow a lot of different people on social media and everything, and some things I was reading is an interesting thought is it's like the mob is trying to take over, but during this mob war between Falcone, gotta get in the habit, Maroni, and Mooney, which is a lot of EIs. These mobs are going to do things and basically give birth to the supervillains. You know, I'm still waiting to see how Enigma is going to play in more. Like you were talking about, Phil, if he's on the inside, maybe working for Falcone, corrupting crime scenes, and then he gets something backlashed against him. I'd really like to see him come out a little bit more instead of just being in these one segment little shots.
Oh yeah, I think by the end of the season you're going to see him play a lot bigger role. But I don't know if I agree with the mob birthing these villains, but I think they're running scared. They're already running. Falcone and them are already running scared. Because I mean, like in the Dark Knight when the Joker showed up.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they were running scared just with the Joker. I mean, you had Zaz, Cobblepot comes back.
It's like a different way of crime. You have the, what's the word I'm searching for? Like refined criminals who play by a code, who are businessmen, but then all of a sudden you get these people who are just villainous, crazy.
The mob plays by certain kind of rules.
Right.
I mean, that's why they're scared of the freaks, as they call them, because they're complete chaos. They have no rules. They're so crazy.
Right. Well, and some of those, I mean, obviously, some of those people work for the mob bosses, and they're going to do stuff to tick them off or make them, try to hurt them, and that's going to end up causing them to lash out and become even crazier.
Yeah, I could see that in the first season, like we had Cobblepot in the first episode, some of them working for the mob, but then I think the mob's going to discover that they can't control these people.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought of a theory. What if it's Falcone who reopens Arkham the mob has a place to try to contain these people?
That would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested in seeing if they bring in any of the other characters and have more of the public face figure that everybody likes, who's actually more corrupt, like Daggett, or Stag, or someone like that, who's like, we're going to give money, this, because we can't get LexCorp or LuthorCorp to come in, so we need somebody.
We got to give money to reopen Arkham. I mean, we got to develop this as, public service.
Yeah, we need somebody to kind of come in and play that political figure of...
Well, do you think some money's going to come from Bruce Wayne? Because he was talking about... Was it last week or this week? He was talking about he could give
giving
money
him clothes.
Yeah, it was this week.
This week.
See, I think it'd been kind of neat if they did something where it was like opening the Arkham Orphanage, and like where Bruce maybe tries to set up something for all those homeless kids, like a new orphan homeless shelter, and then it backfires, like, because the people controlling it just make it corrupt, and then eventually it goes back to being Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, there's something so wrong with the place. They're like, well...
And then Bruce has to deal with the guilt.
It's almost like, how we talked about Gotham being a character? Like, Arkham's a character. Like, it's something, it's basically, it's evil in itself. Like, no matter what you could try to do to make the place better, make Arkham City, whatever.
Well, yeah, like
the crazy is going to go there. Like, that's where they're drawn to. That's where the villains are drawn to.
Yeah, like later on in his history, like people say Gotham can be like a reflection of Batman. Well, Arkham's like a reflection of the people locked up there. But okay, let's throw this out here. At the end of the episode, when Selina tells Gordon she knows who shot the Waynes, how does she know that?
She was there.
Yeah, but he was wearing a mask and gloves and the whole 9 yards. How would she know?
It depends on your definition of I know who shot them.
Do you think she's lying? I think she might be lying.
In a way, I think she's pulling a scam. Like, she has enough information that she could probably use it to get herself some freedom. But, she doesn't saw who exactly did it.
Selina Kyle's always thinking ahead, has a scam in mind. That's what I'm thinking.
It's like she's going to give Gordon what she knows, but twist it around so it serves her better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so it was a guy in a mask and gloves. Okay, I kind of knew that already. Thanks.
Yeah, but...
He had a black mask.
She has a general height
build.
Oh,
didn't get the joke.
I heard it. I just didn't want to interrupt Kelly. Black mask. I get it.
She has the basic height build, that kind of information, though, that Bruce would have been too freaked out to recall clearly. So that can help them narrow down. I mean, obviously they're not looking for a kid, which they could have thought before with all the homeless kids and all the crime and everything. They're not looking for somebody that's really, really old, They're looking for somebody kind of middle-aged, and a slight build. So that's going to narrow out a lot of people.
Does anyone have any new theories about who it could be? Because, I mean, from what Falcone's saying, I don't think the mob had anything to do with it. They seemed to like the way things were going the way they were.
I don't know. Because I'm not going to take any preconceived comic ideas because let them open it up. It seemed too planned to be a random killer.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like the mob really did it because there's the line about the dialogue of ever since the Waynes were murdered, things have shifted and gone crazier.
Yeah, Falcone's in charge, and he seems like he doesn't know what's going on. So
yeah, but
could be the Court of Owls,
or even somebody. I mean, maybe the mob as a whole doesn't want that to happen, but maybe somebody wants to shift the power.
Fish Mooney.
Who, you throw everybody off balance and then you can grab power. And so while maybe it's not the mob as a whole, maybe it is a single person acting alone. Well, obviously not alone because they had to have somebody do it, but you know what I'm saying?
Someone took it upon themselves to start the battle of the power shift.
Yeah, because it could always be Fish Mooney or someone hiring out out of town,
Or maybe it was Penguin because he said the war was coming.
If you take that black mask, because it looks like a weird mask, and you change the color to a tan or white, it looks like gauze and bandages. Black Hush. I don't know. I'm interested to see who it is, if they figure it out, if they make somebody the victim, the murderer, or if it just becomes the unsolved mystery.
Yeah, because they did that in the comic books for a while. I think like in the 90s that they said, he never found out who the killer was, so it's always like the next guy Batman catches could be the person who killed his parents.
Yeah, it becomes almost that's more of his obsession is every villain could be the one that did it.
Yeah.
Which is a cool concept.
And would he recognize him if he saw him?
That's the thing with the mask. Like I thought it was interesting because he had a mask. In most instances, it's just a thug who doesn't have a mask.
Yeah, but see, like I bet you they'll show that Bruce ever does run across the guy, he'll know it because he'll like look at his eyes and he'll like recognize the eyes or something.
Yeah, that could be. A lot of people though, when you've been through a traumatic event like that, your memory's not that reliable.
And this is still Bruce. Had
Right.
that happened when he was Batman, like the mindset of being that child, and then into Batman.
But I think just like for sake of the story, they might have like I'd recognize those eyes anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, I would like to see this scene, a version of it, of the whole like Bruce by the candlelight making the vow. Like I'd like to see that. Not that I will become a bat, but just the I vow to.
I will war on all criminals, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not hold his hand in it.
Because, the hand-holding was kind of like a tease to him kind of just losing it and trying to find his grasp. This week, once again, though, not a lot of Alfred development. I'd like to see some more of Alfred.
Yeah, I think the pacing might have been off this week. I mean, not off, but I think we were still getting more world building kind of just because we were developing Selina Kyle more because she really didn't have much to do in the first episode, at least,
We're only at episode 2, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're still building.
I'm hoping that, maybe they'll have some more Alfred. Because I really like the scene of Alfred in the police station talking to Gordon when he asked him to come to the house because the boy respects you.
Right.
I really like that. So I'd like to see some more kind of that relationship of the Gordon-Alfred.
Yeah. Guess what I found today? Bruce would be like, guess what I found today? A cave under my house.
What? Oh, yeah. Oops, how'd that get there?
Hey, Jim, want to come over and hang out in my cave? No.
I got a man cave.
Literally, yeah, that would be the great line. Bruce built himself a new man cave. Oh, okay. To do...
Or Alfred just like, the boy spends all day down in that cave.
I'm interested because I just picked up from the library the Gotham Central comics, and I'm going to kind of pour over those. Maybe I'll finish them this weekend because that was like the initial idea behind the series was those comics.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick those up.
The wife last night, she was like, let's watch some Batman before we go to bed. I was like, okay. And we watched Year One again because she's like, it has more of that Gotham feel to it. So we rewatched that and revisited that and talked about things.
Yeah, because that's a big Jim Gordon story, too.
That's what I loved about it, in a sense. Like, it was Batman Year One, but yet it was very Gordon-centric.
Oh, yeah, it was the two stories, like, running parallel, like, they're, both of them coming back to Gotham and stuff, and...
So I'm excited. I want to see more of the show and where it goes, because in all reality, it's very open. Anything can happen.
And it usually
except
does.
Batman. Anything can happen but him put on the Batman suit.
Well, that could happen in the last episode.
I believe that's what I heard them saying, like, when right before the first episode is the last episode will be him putting, kind of like Smallville. The last episode will be him becoming Batman. I
just thought of something. What's interesting. The mask that the killer wore was just like a ski mask type thing. It was black.
Balaclava.
And remember how in Batman Begins in Year One, and even in Mask of the Phantasm, when Bruce first goes out, he just puts on a black ski mask.
Yeah, before he comes up with the whole idea for Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
a thought.
Yeah, Mask of the Phantasm, that is a fantastic movie.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Anyone who has not seen, I could watch that movie every day. If I had time, I would watch that every day.
I remember my dad taking us to the theater to see that.
Oh, I never saw it in the theater.
It was one of those, my brother and I asked if we could go to the movies, and my dad said he would take us. And we got to pick, and like I said before, my dad would always watch the animated series with us. So we picked to go see Batman, the animated series. And I mean, it came out, because he didn't get to go see Returns with us because he had to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad's always liked Batman. Who hasn't? Who doesn't like Batman?
Yeah.
So I just that's a memory I remember of we all went as a family. Me, my brother, and my dad and mom. We went and saw Batman.
Anyone who has not seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm, go out and get it. It's on you can find it on DVD somewhere, even if you have to do Amazon.
That's how I got my copy. I went to Amazon, and it is the best Batman animated film before the whole DC just animated movie started, but...
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, it's good.
Just the stuff with Bruce Wayne, you know, in the beginning, and the Joker and everything.
Okay, I'll add it to my shopping list.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's your homework. Watch
it. I can do that.
Go get that. As soon as you get it, watch it. It is wonderful.
You'll love it.
We've got a great movie rental store here. One of the few towns around that I know has a big movie rental store.
Oh, you still have movie rental stores?
We have one. But it's awesome because it's huge. They have everything.
Is it a chain or a mom and pop?
It's a chain. It's a family video.
They're great. I went in there one time when they're starting to get into Ohio. I went into one in North Carolina, and they had so many great movies backed. I used to work at Blockbuster before they officially went out of business, and my old manager, he opened his own video store here, so he runs his own video store, and he's constantly updating and adding old movies and stuff to it.
Yeah, our family video actually even has a specific 3D Blu-ray section and a TV section. It's awesome.
I wish we still had those around here.
I have Netflix streaming, and I use that, but there's lots of stuff that's not available on streaming, and...
A lot of the streaming stuff is the secondary B-rated stuff that video stores and stuff would get that no one really rented.
Well, Arrow's on there, but... Well,
yeah, I mean, you have your high-end stuff.
You got a lot of good stuff, but... Yeah, there's a lot of junk on there, too, but I keep it because I can watch, even though I have Arrow on every device I own. I'm sure Gotham, I bought the first episode, hadn't gotten the second one yet, so
I'm trying to get my mom watching it. I got my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, which that didn't take much effort, and me, my wife, my uncle, we're all watching it. The next is to get my mom to start watching Gotham, and my dad. Like, you like Batman stuff? Watch this.
Oh, my mom's watching Gotham.
I'm trying to get my mom, too. I got her to watch Flash Arrow.
Okay.
Was it last Wednesday night? She texted me, like, I'm watching Arrow. And it was the Three Ghosts episode.
Yeah, Three Ghosts and the Scientist, yeah.
So she watched those, and now she's like, I'm going to watch The Flash and Arrow now. I'm like, good, Mom. I've only been trying to get you to watch it for 2 years.
Okay, yeah. You guys should be impressed. I got my 80-year-old parents to watch Gotham.
You hear that? You hear that, Mom? Everyone else's parents are watching Flash and Arrow.
My parents won't watch Flash and Arrow, but they watched Gotham, and they're 80.
Hey, I think it's a good show because it's like a comic book buffer show. If you're someone who likes the comics, but you're not really into that superhero kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's a prequel, you really don't have to know much about the...
You don't have to know the universe.
You got the 40s, 50s mobster thing. You got the... Yeah,
the police procedural thing.
Yeah.
And maybe a CSI with the Riddler, So it can really play into a bigger demographic.
Yeah. And, from what I saw, the live tweeting went well again on Monday night.
Very well, very well. But we need more people to join us. So
and what's
tell
that
your
Twitter
friends.
Handle?
What's that Twitter handle? Before the Bat Pod. Come find me. I'll tweet with you every Monday.
And the Gotham Writers, did you say the Gotham Writers were on there?
Yeah, oh yeah. And they favorited and retweeted us again, so.
Nice.
They're awesome folks. And, yeah, it's been pretty fun, because you never know who you're gonna get. And they had a lot of the cast were tweeting this week, too, so that was a lot of fun. And we were getting little pics and stuff behind the scenes and stuff during the episode, so that was really cool too.
Sweet. And then this week, the last blog that went up was the Jim Gordon history, and that got picked up by Ben McKenzie News on Twitter.
That's awesome.
That would be really cool to just see some more live tweeting going on and just get mentioned during the show.
We do get quite a few people live tweeting with us, so everybody, come join me Monday night. It's a hoot.
Interact with your favorite podcaster Kelly.
I'm in the middle of the guy Oreo, so hey.
Hey.
Whoa. me and Tyler are married men. So.
I know, but it's funny because I've never podcasted with guys before, and I think it's awesome, especially in a comic book show. It's fun.
You get a nice variety. Yeah, nice variety. You podcast with us, and then you podcast with Lilith.
That's right.
It's just fun. I'll podcast and talk with anybody. Only have something good to talk about.
Alright, so does anyone have anything else?
No, I'm just really excited for the next episode of Gotham and just see where the show goes.
Yes, I believe Monday's episode is titled Balloon Man.
I just seen something on social media. I'll just share real quick. Gotham, I guess, is being reported as the most pirated show in the fall TV lineup right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I guess that it's kind of a compliment, but
that's not good.
It's the most popular shows get. I forget what was the numbers, like 1.3 million illegal downloads or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. Folks, I know it's expensive to buy them because I do it, but support the show, keep it on the air. Buy your downloads.
Or just DVR it and save them.
That too. But if you want to take it to go.
I mean, honestly, it's not that bad because you can buy those passes on iTunes.
Right. Or on Google Play, or on Vudu, or on any of the Amazon. You can do the same thing.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, I was gonna say, don't break the law, people. Jim Gordon is watching.
If you want to download it, do the Amazon because you actually get a physical. Well, you get a download copy. It's not just streaming.
Exactly. I get frustrated with people who just pirate stuff like that because I'm like, you might like it, but it's not going to help the show. Like, oh, no one's watching. We're not making money. We'll just cancel it. Well, it's canceled because all the supporters were pirating. We see that in movie trends as well.
Yeah, and you wouldn't like it if somebody stole your work that you worked,
exactly
hundreds of hours to do. You wouldn't like it. You would be aggravated. And I'm a musician, so I do understand how that happens and how it affects an artist.
Oh, I'm a musician, and I got stories for you, Kelly. We'll talk about those some other time.
But yeah, so buy the show, folks. If you like it, save up when they come out with the soundtrack. Buy the soundtrack. And support the show.
If you want to keep them on the air, money talks.
That's right. And tweets talk, too.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yes, so tweet with us.
Yes, Twitter is actually, they are using Twitter in the ratings figures now. So, buzz on Twitter matters.
That's why all the shows now have a hashtag in the bottom corner of it when you're watching it.
You got it. That's the trending tag for the night. So, watch for those tags.
Let's get Gotham up there.
All right. Anyone have anything else, or should we end this?
I'm good.
We need everybody to follow us on social media.
Oh, yeah, well, that's just what I was about to do. Our social media. Our email is beforethebat@gmail.com. Facebook is Before the Bat, the Gotham Podcast. And as you said, Twitter is @BeforeTheBatPod. We also have Instagram, BeforeTheBat_/ArrowPod. Tumblr is BeforeTheBat//ArrowPod.
Hey, I want to challenge our listeners. You guys, send us some questions, like audio questions. Record on your laptop and send us a question via email.
Questions, comments,
yeah,
random thoughts.
Anything about Batman you'd like to see us talk about or discuss and get our opinion on? Because we're all big Batman fans.
And we want to interact with you.
Yeah, any thoughts where you think the show's going, we'll discuss it. And our new blog post should go up on Monday, and since this week was Selina Kyle, the blog will be about Catwoman.
Woohoo!
Cool. Sounds good.
I want her goggles. They're awesome.
Very steampunkish.
Yes.
And what would you like to plug?
I want to say, if you want to chat with me, I'm always up for chat on Twitter. It's @JTYPatrick. Hit me up. We can discuss Batman, whatever.
You can find me at The Voice of TV at voiceoftv.com. I review Flash and Arrow. And you can follow me on Twitter at SuperSquint. That's SuperSquint. I'm also Super Squint on Tumblr.
And I am Nightwing PDP on Twitter. So, is that it?
Yep.
You got it.
All right. Well, you know what we got to say now. Join us next week.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat podcast.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.